What's up, guys? It's Saturday morning, and I kind of decided to just make a little video this morning. And I know I've been talking a lot about how I plan to kind of change the direction of the brand, and kind of change, a little bit about the content that I share on the website. And I guess in light of the trademark lawsuit and a lot of things that have happened, it's hard to explain, but I think I've always tried to curate this brand, like this motorcycle lifestyle brand or this automotive lifestyle brand, which, I'm a huge part of it. But at the end of the day, this brand is like, it's just an extension more or less of myself and, all the things that I'm interested in. So, it probably may come to a shock to a lot of people, and you could probably tell by the content that's on my website is I don't really consider myself a motorcycle person. I don't really ride my motorcycle ever, more or less for the simple reason that it's too dangerous to ride it down here. When I lived in New York, I would ride it all the time, but anybody that's visited South Florida knows that riding a motorcycle is pretty dangerous. I've actually had some friends recently that were nearly killed in motorcycle accidents when they're just cruising around their neighborhood. So, I don't really consider myself a motorcycle rider. I'm more interested in the build of the motorcycle, and I consider the build of the motorcycle, art. And, I grew up in school taking art classes and things like that, but, when it came to metal fabrication and painting and learning and building things, building cars and building motorcycles, to me is an art form, and I enjoy the build. I don't necessarily enjoy the ride. So that's a little bit of information there as far as that goes, but not to turn this video into a super long history lesson of myself and the brand and everything. I thought I would just take the opportunity today to kind of introduce my boat project, and I really want to start to share my projects on the site more and more. So I figure I might as well just start now. So I've kind of touched on the boat a little bit, and there's a video on YouTube about why I purchased the boat. But I think the boat purchase really kind of started right around when the trademark lawsuit started. So I found myself in a situation where a lot of disposable income that I had, it wasn't disposable anymore, because I realized that any extra money that I had was going to have to go towards fighting my legal battle, and then it ended up turning out to be I just didn't have enough. So I think even leading up to that, I knew that I wanted to start living a smarter life and living more minimally. So I really started downsizing a lot of the things that I did. I started to cut back a lot on eating out, and started to cut back a lot on buying things that I didn't need. And I like to think that most of the purchases that I make are business related, so a lot of camera equipment and things like that, but I've really cut that back too, because I used to find myself buying a new lens or this or that, and I didn't really need it. And at the moment I thought that I needed it, and then I would have it and it would just sit in my camera bag. So I've really tried to cut back on a lot of that stuff as well. My arm is tired from holding the camera up, so I keep having to put the camera down. So I should have brought the tripod out. But a year ago I started working on renovating this boat, and it's really been a Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday for the past year. And I'm fortunate that my girlfriend has been okay with me dedicating that much time to a project like this. And to be honest with you, I really have used this project as like a release, an escape from the lawsuit and everything that's been going on. Because when I'm on the boat, I'm on the water, and I'm building, and I'm focused on that, and in my mind it kind of it's cleared a little bit. So I think anybody's hobby or their projects, I think everybody should have something that they can immerse themselves in. If life's stressful, everybody has it, and if you have something that you can kind of get your mind off things a little bit, and it's very healthy. Like, I feel like projects are a very healthy thing to have. So I really enjoy coming out here Saturday morning, Sunday mornings, and just spending the day working and building. And, you know, at the end of the day, you look and you say, I built that, I made that, you know, it was worth it. So it's a good feeling. A battery died in the camera, so I had to go get a new battery. But I'd like to just kind of go through the boat real quick, give you a little overview of where I am right now in the project. And I know I've been yapping for quite a bit already, so I don't even know how long this is, maybe a few minutes, but I'll make it pretty short. A lot of this stuff is kind of boring, and it's not going to really look like much, but I have a year of work into this thing. Figure every single weekend for the past year, you know, working on this. So I'll give you a little tour of it. All right, so here it is, 37 foot of worn out hoopty glory, 30 years old. And it's hard to see it, but, you know, I have a vision of what it's going to look like eventually. So real brief from this angle, you can kind of see I started to build this lounge over here. This is made out of fiberglass honeycomb composite panels. And then at the top, eventually I'll build supports up the side, and then on the top will be a full fiberglass, like a T-top is what it's called, covering this entire top. It used to have canvas, kind of like something like this, but it was super ugly, and this will be a lot nicer when it's done. So moving to the inside of the boat, there's a lot of work in here that you really can't see, but around this outside here used to be all cushion. It was like a vinyl padding with a vinyl with cushion underneath it, so if you leaned against it, it was soft. And that sort of thing was good back in 1987, but it's just not in style, and it looked like hell. So when I took all this cushion off, there was huge holes, like quarter-size holes, all drilled into this fiberglass where those things used to mount. So this has all been filled in with fiberglass and you know, a marine thickening, like Bondo, but for marine purposes, and that'll be smoothed out. And then over here, this piece right here, this is completely custom made from scratch. This is made out of a honeycomb composite board. So basically it's plastic board with a honeycomb on the inside, and then there's layers of fiberglass that are laid on the front side and the back side. And this compartment here is going to be, there will be a door on here. I have the door, I just need to finish this. Obviously this is a white primer, so this is almost done. But this will house my propane tank, and long story short, I'm gonna do propane because this boat isn't going to have a generator, at least not right in the beginning, and having a propane will give us the ability to cook in the boat without being connected to any power. So if we're out and about with the boat and we don't have power, you know, if we're not plugged in here to land, we'll be able to cook food and things like that. So the reason why you have to put the propane in this compartment is because it's 100% airtight sealed, and if the propane tank does leak, there'll be a vent in the bottom of this that will vent over to the side of the boat, because propane is heavier than air, and if there's a leak, the propane will find itself to the lowest point of the boat, so it'll go down underneath and get all the way down in the engine compartment. And propane building up in the engine compartment is not a good idea. Basically, it's a recipe for an explosion. So US Coast Guard standards require that propane be in an airtight enclosure with a vent that goes overboard, blah blah blah. So that's that. This is also built out of honeycomb composite material. This will have a door on it, and there will be a piece here in the back as a lounge, so we'll be able to lay here. And this isn't attached right now. This is just kind of sitting here loose, but this will eventually be all epoxied and fiberglassed in, and it'll become one piece, and there'll be doors there for storage underneath. So on Saturday when I was filming this, it was so hot that my camera kept overheating, so I'm back out here again. I think it's Wednesday, so just continue a little bit with more of the overview of the boat. So down here, this little compartment, this will be a recess, and here will be two large 30 amp outlets. One of the this will be where the main power cord comes in from the shore power plug, and this will power all the lights, anything electric inside, and as well a separate 30 amp will feed the air conditioner. So it really doesn't look like much up here, but I probably have a solid 3 months of work in this area up here, and a lot of it's hard to see, which if you follow the boat build, you'll see the process of a lot of the things that I did up here. So all of this right here used to be very rough and uneven, and there used to be a wood shelf right here, so that was removed. And up underneath here you can see that it's completely enclosed. So when I purchased the boat, this had the vinyl padding along the edge as well, which had the big holes, so that was removed. But underneath here, up along this area, that used to be hollow. So you used to be able to kind of just reach up underneath there, and it was just hollow fiberglass. So I decided for aesthetics, to completely fill this area in. So I had this fiberglass here is new, so it connects this wall with the inside wall and makes it all one continuous piece. And then here, this is a footrest. This is removable. This space right here, this was custom fabricated out of fiberglass, and eventually this will house all of my switches for my lights, pumps, things like that. And then also this will be where I mount my VHF radio. On this side, this used to be pretty much an empty space. There was a wooden cabinet that was in that space. I ripped that cabinet out because it was rotting from years of water damage, and this piece here is a fiberglass cabinet that I built from scratch using a fiberglass mold. So this is a 100% fiberglass piece that was built to fit specifically into that space. And then up here on the helm, this right here, this was custom built as well. So this used to come flat along from here to here. It was flat all the way down, and it used to be designed to set like charts on and things like that. But when I first bought the boat and I started to use it, I realized that because of that slope of it, you couldn't set anything here without it wanting to slide off. So I cut the fiberglass and then dropped this down so that now we have a flat space to rest drinks. And on 4th of July, we had like chips and cheese and salsa and stuff here. So this was a nice way to make this area more usable. And then moving over here, there was big holes cut out here for different things, switches and things that the previous owner had installed over the years. And the same thing here, there were big holes. So this has all been filled in smooth. All these gauges and everything right now are temporary, because all these switches are eventually going to be moved down to here. And then I'm going to get new gauges. So all the gauges will be on the left side, and then on the right side will be a digital chart navigation system, which obviously I can't afford that right now. That's going to be, well down the road. Right now I use an iPad with software on the iPad, and it works, plenty good enough for what I need. So this all is in primer right now. This has all been, there was just holes all screwed in throughout this that have all been filled in. This had a cushion on it, and it's been removed, and all the holes have been filled and are in the process of being filled in. A project that I'm planning to start probably in the next couple weeks is going to be eliminating these chairs, and I will be building a bench here out of fiberglass that will kind of mirror this bench. So when I'm driving and when my girlfriend's sitting next to me, this will be basically a bench that will replace these seats, that'll look just like this, but it'll just be higher. So the seating level will be higher, and then it'll get rid of these ugly seats. So here you can see I put the lounge piece into place. This is just really sitting here right now. It's not attached, but this will eventually be attached as one piece. So it'll all be molded and connected and fiberglassed in. So it'll be one solid piece, just like this is over here. It's connected to the sides and the wall, and it becomes one piece. So also all of this here is all new. This used to be plywood, and it was all rotted from water damage over the years because the water used to pool up right here in this area. So this is all brand new. Any of the wood trim has been removed and replaced with fiberglass. This wall is all brand new all the way down to the bottom, and this is marine grade plywood, but there's 2 layers of fiberglass over it to make it waterproof. So that's all been replaced. So I'm not going to get into really showing the engines at this point because there's still a lot of cosmetic stuff that I want to do to them. But I spent easily, I don't even know, 4 months or more, probably from August through Christmas or more. So like a long time, just doing all the engine work, carburetor work, exhaust manifolds, alternator, belts, hoses, wiring. All the wiring on the engines is brand new. All the batteries, the house batteries, are new. All the wiring for the starters, all the wiring feeding the electrical panel, it's all brand new wiring. And the reason I had to do that is because I had found that a lot of it had been shorted out and melted and poor connections, so it was just a fire hazard and it had to be replaced. So I'll show you a little bit about the panel, but there's really not much to see as far as that goes. So this is the main panel for, this is the DC panel, and this is the AC panel, and all of these service, like the refrigerator, the toilet, the lights, any of the pumps, things like that. This was all custom built. From scratch I built, and the reason was because at one point this boat had termites, and yeah, it's not something that I noticed when I purchased the boat, but I found it had termite damage, and so this was all rebuilt. And behind this was all the new wiring that was done. So all this is all new wiring, new terminals, distribution for all the wiring. These are the engine harnesses, so those were all shortened and rerun. You know, new distribution for some of the AC lines. So that was cleaned up well. These are throttle cable and transmission cable, things like that. So there was a lot of work in here to get that situated. So moving to the salon or the living area, my game plan is this is all going to get taken out. It's in good shape, but I feel like it's not really a good utilization of the space. So we wouldn't really set anything on the top of this and leave it. My girlfriend and I are pretty, I guess, neat freaks, and we don't like clutter. So my plan is to pull out all these cabinets, and I'm going to rebuild the cabinets so they come all the way up to this ledge here, and that will give us more storage, because we're losing the storage from here up. So basically these cabinets will extend up and then flat to the windowsill, and this here will stay. So the cabinets will start here and come all the way across, and then this cabinet will come all the way up to this level here. The other reason why I kind of wanted to pull these out is because it's wood, and I'm trying to get as much as the wood out of the boat as I possibly can, because termites are still a big problem in Florida, and I have seen some termite activity in the boat. I don't think it's anything major. I've done a lot of spraying and things like that, but if you don't have wood for them to chew on, then they won't be attracted to your boat. So this, it's just better to get rid of all this. Plus, wood is heavy, and heavy means more gas. So if I can replace this with composite fiberglass panels, it's just a win-win. So that's the plan there. All right, so this is going to be hard to film. So the gist of what's going on down here in the living space, this is the existing kitchen, and this is the existing bathroom. Eventually, this will all be removed. This wall will be removed. The bathroom will be removed. There's a shower in there. You'll see that in a second. And the bathroom is going to be moved from this area to this area. So it's hard to see because my lens isn't wide enough for you to see everything that's going on here, but I started to frame what will be the new bathroom. So in this area here where these things are sitting, I guess it comes over to there and then over to here. This will be the shower, and the reason I'm relocating the shower to this point is because this is the highest headroom portion of this lower part of the boat, so it'll give you the most headroom in the shower, and just, you know, for comfort reasons, it makes more sense to have it here closest to, you know, the rear section of this part of the boat. And then this will be a door. Toilet will be over here, and then there will be cabinets on the inside, running along this wall here. And then in the back, this is a full-length closet. Me personally, I don't need hanging space, but my girlfriend has a lot of dresses and things, so this will be closet that will go all the way to the inside wall of the boat. And then in the front, this is where the main bed will be. I should be able to almost fit a full double bed. A lot of this here is going to be changed, so there'll be more storage underneath these areas. Again, this is plywood that I intend to replace with fiberglass, and it will make the boat a lot lighter. I guess that I estimate, probably since I've taken out a lot of the wood and the generator, I've probably removed well over 1,000 pounds. I mean, I would guess it's maybe 1,500 pounds of weight from this boat, and you can actually see the difference in how low the boat sits in the water. It's made a big difference with the amount of weight that was removed from this boat. So here's the existing bathroom. This is just poorly designed. This takes up so much space. This is all going to get removed. This fiberglass shower, this will all get removed, and this will be entire from here all the way to here to here. This will all eventually be countertop space that will run from here all the way down, and then all the way up to the bed will be countertop for the kitchen. So we'll have a nice big open space for the kitchen, and then on this side, this will be a wall that's built, and then in here will be the bathroom, and then in the front will be the living space, or the bedroom space. So you might be looking at it, and I mean, I know I look at it and I'm thinking, a year, what have you done in a year? It doesn't really look like you did that much, but the majority of the work that I've done has been mechanical and electrical. So all the wiring, getting all the mechanicals of the engines sorted out. So the engines fire right up. All the hoses are safe. All the wiring is new. So, and then repainting and cleaning and getting everything sorted and rerouted and organized in the engine bay was months and months and months of work. And then I eventually moved to the outside, which I showed you earlier. And then that fiberglass work was just another 4 to 5 months plus to get it to that point. So a lot of the outside parts of the boat are close to being ready for paint, but because it's so hot in Florida, you can't really paint this time of the year, so I have to wait until winter. And the paint will just dry too fast and you'll get poor results. So once the weather cools down, I can get to that, but it's close to being put into primer, most of it, and yeah, making progress. So it's been this long project. I'm just starting now to see, you know, like some of it coming together, because I'm doing less tearing apart and I'm doing more building and putting back together. So it's good when you can start to see progress, and then the motivation levels come back up. So that's the project. I might have mentioned earlier that I've been filming this entire process, like all the fiberglass work that I've done, most of the engine and electrical. I filmed a lot of that, and I'm gonna start to build videos on, you know, details of everything that I've done thus far, and I'd love it if you guys joined, followed along. I mean, I know everybody's not into boats. Not everybody lives on the water, but I'd appreciate it if you followed on YouTube. And you know, I plan on posting a lot of other projects as well. So the van build will be something that I'm going to start soon. And then I have a Yamaha XT350 that I'm going to start, and that will be, you know, another project to share on the channel. So hop on over to YouTube, you know, give the channel a follow, and yeah, I hope you guys are into it.